Cool. Oh, can I get everything done? No, no, no. You're not really early. It's just
15, I'm 16, but I can't wait.
oh, good morning. I it's a little dusty in here as well as cold, so sorry about that. Well, good morning, everybody. I was remembering this little book that I got a long time ago called An Imperfect Life. And it reminded me that yoga, is never perfect. You never reach the ultimate purpose of yoga is to mesh together mind, body, and soul. And so you never quite get there. We're always striving for it. And I think that even the poses, there's always another level of the pose that you can work on. Or even if you are in the final pose, some days you have it and some days you don't. And that's perfect because the idea is to be where you are on the day, which is great too. So think about that and close your eyes and take 3 cleansing breaths. So long, slow, deep breath. And then as you let it out, maybe just let it out slowly by opening your mouth and sighing. And then just allow your breath to go back to normal. There is no end, and there's always room for continuous improvement and progress. With this in mind, always approach the impossible with hope. And maybe one day, when you least expect it, what you were tirelessly looking for will meet you right there where you are. That's why there's so much hope in yoga, and the possibilities are endless. Stephen Hawking wrote that one of the basic rules of the universe is that nothing is perfect. Perfection simply doesn't exist. Without imperfection, neither you nor I would exist. So we just embrace our imperfections, our physical imperfections. Study our mental imperfections. And maybe appreciate the perfection of our soul, created by something much greater. Please bring hands to heart center. When we're able to embrace imperfection, I think we're much better likely to notice the grace and the beauty that's within us, within others, and all around us. Please lower your hands, open your eyes, and sitting up nice and tall, just stretch your arms up, stretch long, feel your sits bones grounded, and then reach across with your left hand and roll your right sleeve down or pretend like it, and then just bring your hand to your back and then grab the elbow with your right hand and maybe arc to your right a little bit. If it's too much stretch, and just notice that, don't do it. Keep both sits bones grounded. And then come on back up. And roll the opposite sleeve down or bring the hand to the middle back, opposite hand to elbow. And arc to your left. And then coming back up, stretch the arms up and bring them to a T with your hands, palms forward. And then just reach your left hand over to your right, roll your sleeve up again, come back across, switch. Just trying to add a little twist in there, get your core warmed up. Good. And then pause and just inner rotate your right arm and outer rotate your left. Start with the shoulder and switch. Warming up the arms a little bit. And keep switching when you feel like you've rotated all the way. One more time to this side. And then come back to center, stretch the arms up. And then twist to your right. Just bring your hands down. Make nice long spine. And on your exhale, maybe you can twist deeper to see where you're at this morning. And then stretch the arms up really tall and switch to the other side. And coming back to center, go ahead and transition to all fours. Start a little music. And all fours. Just move through some cow and cat. You can go with your breath or whatever speed you want, just to really stretch out your spine. One more round. And then pause with the flat back when you're ready. And you're just going to swivel your left foot to the side and then listen carefully. Lift your knee up there and just turn the foot and knee out and ground it down. And then stretch back a little bit. You'll feel a stretch in your hip. Just go to a place that feels like a nice stretch, keeping your shoulders square. And come on back up. Just turn your knee right back in, swivel that foot in. We'll switch sides. Right foot swivels out. Turn the right foot and knee out. And stretch back. Open up that hip. Let's take note of which hip feels tight, or maybe they both feel even. Most of the time, we're not perfect. One feels different than the other. Good, come on up, swivel the knee down, swivel the foot back in, and swivel the left foot out again. Now we're going to a side plank variation. So you want your left hand slightly in front of your shoulder, stretch your right foot long in the same plane as your knee, and then come up to a side plank. Just take a moment to open your heart. You can bend your right elbow to lift that heart a little bit. And then think long. So press down through the right foot, lengthen through the top of the head, stretch your arm by your ear, palm facing down. And come on back down. Swivel that left knee in, or left foot in, and we'll switch to the right side. Extend the left leg. Open your heart a little bit, just thinking shoulder blades on the back. And then press through the left foot, lengthen your spine, arm by your ear. Nice and long. And come on down, back to all fours. I'm gonna have you try something. So move to cow pose. And as you do, point your toes and lift your feet. And then curl your toes under, round to cat, and lift your knees a couple inches. Just engaging the core. Good. Lower the knees. Move to cow, lift the feet, point the toes. Curl the toes, round to cat. Lift the knees a couple inches. If it feels good, you don't have to lift. And one more time, lower the knees. Move to cow, lift the feet. And curl the toes around. Lift the knees. Lowering the knees this time. Keep the toes curled under. Walk your hands back to sit on your heels for a moment. Check in with your quads, your knees, your feet. Get off your hands for a moment, right? And then come back to all fours. Hands slightly in front of the shoulders. And stretch your left arm up towards the ceiling and thread it underneath the right one with the palm facing up onto your shoulder. If that works for you. I always like to draw my sternum back toward my spine here. Feel a stretch on that outer left shoulder. And actually the whole left side body. Good. Come on back up and let's switch. Stretch the right arm up and thread it underneath. The sternum back a little bit. Good. And unwind. Roll the toes under, lift the knees up and back to your first downward facing dog. Walk it out. Good. Lower your knees. Stretch your toes long and sit back to a child's pose with your arms stretched long like that. Just wherever it works for you. And then just step your hands out a little wider. And then reach your hand up and place it on top of the left hand. And maybe shift your hips to the right a little bit. And then switch. So bring the right hand back. Stretch the left hand over. Shift the hips to the left. Feel a stretch in the side body. Good. And then bring the hands back to shoulder width. With the hands flat, just move right up into a cow pose. Good. And then round to cat as you curl the toes, lift the knees a little bit, hover there for a moment, and then send the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Next, inhale, come forward to a plank pose. Stay there for a breath. On your next exhale, lower the knees. Stretch the toes long, sit back to child's pose. Inhale, slide forward into cow. Exhale, curl the toes round the back, lift the knees. Stay for a breath. And then send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Next, inhale, come to plank. Take one more breath. And on the exhale, lower your knees. Stretch your toes, sit back to child's pose. One last time, inhale, stretch up through cow. Curl the toes, round to cat, lift the knees. On your exhale, push up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, stay. On your exhale, lower the knees, stretch the toes, sit back to child's pose. This time, just stack your hands under your forehead. Notice where you feel perfect or imperfect. And then just go ahead and slide all the way forward onto your belly. Stretch your toes long. Stretch your hands back by your hips. I like to lower my forehead to think long side body, head of the arm bones back, rib cage back, long back of neck as I lift my head and my shoulders and my arms to Shalabhasana. If you're really feeling it, you can lift your feet too. Hold. See if you can get a deep breath, even though you're right on your belly. One more breath. And bring the hands on your forehead again. Relax completely. And then slide your hands back by your chest and push up and back to downward facing dog. And slowly walk your hands back to your feet and come to a forward fold there. And just check in, see how your feet are reacting. Do they feel like you're using all parts? How are your legs? And roll all the way up one vertebra at a time. Come to standing and check your feet. Maybe step forward a little bit so that you're not going to trip on blocks or anything. So feet hip distance apart. Feel all four corners connected. So big toe mound, little toe mound, inside of heel, outside of heel. Feel like your weight's right in the middle. And then shift your weight to your right foot, lift your left heel. And then I use my arms to balance and just lift your knee up. Just play with your balance this morning. One more breath. And then as you bring the foot down, put the foot exactly where you want it. And go ahead and shift your weight to the other foot. Lift the heel and lift the knee. Notice all the little adjustments your body makes. Set that foot down just where you want it. Shift your weight again. Lift the heel. This time turn the leg and the knee and the toes out, and either bring the heel to the inner ankle or lift it below the knee or above the knee, whatever you're feeling this morning. Tree pose. You can stretch your arms up if you're feeling balanced. And then when you come down, just bring the foot exactly where you want it. Shift your weight and go for the other side. Remember, we're not perfect. We just go for where we're at today. Good release. Bring that foot exactly where you want it. Reach all the way up. Bend your elbows, lift your heart. And then round your upper back, bring your forearms together, tuck your chin. Stretch up again. And fold forward. Walk your hands back out. Maybe you walk your hands and your feet to downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. Lower to the mat. Stretch the toes long. Inhale, come up to cobra. Just hold there for a couple breaths to see where you're at today. One more breath. And come on down. Good. Push back to all fours and find your blocks and bring those under your hands, wherever, whatever height you want. And then come on up to a downward facing dog on the blocks. And then extend your left leg and just kind of feel, notice. Can you keep your shoulders square and your hips square? Just play with the hamstrings on your right leg. Good. And then step that foot to the outside of your left block. So you're kind of in a wide, deep lunge. Just lift and lower the heel a couple times. Check out that stretch. Good. And then go ahead and lower the knee. And this is going to be a little different. You're just going to slide your hips straight back over your right knee and flex your left foot, straighten your left leg at that wider angle. You can walk the blocks back if that feels better. It's just a different stretch on the leg and hamstrings. Draw that left leg into the socket, lengthen out, maybe fold deeper. Just straight ahead. You're not folding over the leg. Good. And then go ahead and bend back into the front knee and lower to your elbows if that works for you. Humble pose. Hug the heel towards the knee towards the heel. And breathe. That's all it is. Good. And then come back up. Putting your hands on the blocks, lift the back knee and step back. Down dog. And just like we did on the other side, extend the right leg. You can point and flex a few times if that feels good. See where you're at this morning. And then step the right foot to the outside of the right block. Just feel that stretch. You can lift and lower the left heel if you want. And then lower the back knee and slide the hips back so your left hip's over the left knee and you straighten your right leg. I like to bring my hands really wide and then I can work on drawing that leg into the socket and feel a nice stretch as I fold straight forward. Good. Bend back into the front knee. Hands back on the blocks, maybe elbows to the blocks or even to the floor if you're ready for that this morning. I'm not. Hugging the knee and the heel towards each other just adds a little muscle energy. Good. Bringing the hands back to the block. Lift the back knee and step back. Down dog. This time extending the left leg again. And stepping it through to the inside of the left block. Lower the back knee and stretch up Anjaneyasana. Find stability first. I want you to feel your left hip crease kind of in the same plane as the right hip crease. Good, and then grab your right wrist with your left hand. Lengthen the right side body and arc to your left a little bit. If it doesn't feel stable, you don't have to do it. Just do what feels good for you today. One more breath. And coming back to center. Touch down. Slide the hips straight back to straighten the left leg again. This time everything's lined up. You can use your blocks here if you have tight hamstrings. Try and lengthen out through your toes once you get that muscle energy going. Your heels, your knees, your sits bones line up on both sides this time. One more breath. And bend back into the front knee. Lift the back knee, step back, down dog. Extend the right leg. And step it through to the middle of the blocks. Lower the back knee. Take your time. You can bring hands to the knee first. I always have to hug heel to knee, knee to heel, and then stretch your arms up if you're feeling stable. Grab your left wrist with your right hand to lengthen up and possibly arc to the right. One more breath. And straighten back up, touch down. Hips slide back, straighten the right leg. Hip creases stay parallel, heels, knees, hips line up. One more breath. And please bend back into the front knee, lift the back knee, and this time a big step forward, forward fold. Inhale, pranam, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, sweep all the way up. And bring hands to heart center. And pause for a moment so I can take off a layer. Do you have one you want off? Take it off too. Now that we're warm, inhale, stretch up. Exhale, fold. Pranam. And fold. Step your left foot back to a deep lunge. This time, ground the back foot down and either bring your right elbow to your knee and left hand to hip, or you can keep the right hand on the block if you're ready for that. And then turn your belly and chest forward. It's perfect, Jennifer. Sorry, I did that side first. And then try and extend your arm. Think from the left foot all the way through the top of the head, get long. The right side body's long, and then stretch the arm by your ear, palm facing down. Parsvakonasana, extended side angle pose. We're trying for a plank. So feel like you're a plank of wood, really long and strong. And stretch that arm to the block. Both hands to the block. And big step forward. Inhale, pranam. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time, bend your knees, sit to a chair pose. So try and get the knees parallel. Feel like there's still weight in the balls of your foot, but you really have a lot of weight in the heels because you're sitting back, and then draw your low belly up to lengthen your spine. Okay, now try and keep the low body just as it is as you twist to your right. One more breath. Notice if anything changes in your low body. And on your exhale, come back through center and twist to your left. And coming back to center, touch down, straighten the legs. Take a moment. On your next inhale, step the right foot back, deep lunge. Ground the back foot down. Either hand stays on the block or elbow to the knee. Come into Parshva Konasana. Extend the arm. Think left hip stays underneath. Really using all parts of both feet. And then I feel that right foot to lengthen up through the top of my head. Stretch the arm by the ear. Palm facing down. Reach that right hand towards the block and step back, downward facing dog. And go ahead and lower your knees and take a child's pose. And then coming back up to a downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Walk your feet up to your hands between the blocks and just set the blocks off the mat for a moment to the front or to the side. And inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes as the hands come down. Just take a moment there. Next inhale, open your eyes, stretch up. And exhale, fold forward. Pranam. And fold. Step your right foot back to a deep lunge. And then step your left foot kind of back to the middle. Yeah, there you go. And see if you can get a firm hands down approach as you swivel both heels to the right side. So the toes on both feet are pointing to the left. Bring your left hand to your hip. Ooh, that's a hip opener. You can come up to the ball of your left foot if that feels better or stronger. And it's a side plank variation. Yeah. Extend your arm. Think, I'm gonna really extend from my right foot all the way through the top of my head. The vasisthasana variation. I love vasisthasana just because of the name. Good. Stretch down and step back, downward facing dog. Now you know where we're going. Step your right foot forward just to the middle. Turn both heels to the left. And try the side plank variation on this side. Make sure your left hand slightly in front of your left shoulder so you feel stable. Think of that plank position. One more breath. And come on back. Turning both heels up, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, come to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale down. Downward facing dog. Okay, if you want to do what we just did, you can. If you want knee down variation for vasisthasana, feel like you can do that too. But try this. Turn both feet, heels to the right with your feet parallel. See if you can, so you're on the inner edge of your left foot, outer edge of your right, and come to vasisthasana. That's it. Yeah, try and get on the bottom of that right foot as much as you can. That's it. Beautiful, you guys. And come on down. Take a child's pose. Well-deserved child's pose. Hands under your forehead. Couple breaths. And let's come on up to transition for the other side. So downward facing dog. Swivel both heels to the left. And see if you can find the strength and the length to come to side plank like that. Try and spread the weight on your hand a little bit. And come on down. And lower to your knees. And take a child's pose, brief child's pose. And coming up, one last variation, and I'll give you options here. So watch me for a second. So you can do either knees down, this one if you're tired. You can do the foot up, swivel both. Oops, wrong way. That one. Or so both heels, that one. Or then you can play maybe stack, or maybe even play with full vasisthasana. You decide. Just play, okay? So come on up, downward facing dog. Whatever variation you're going for. Go for it. Maybe stack. Come on down, switch sides. No break. No rest for the weary. For a moment more. Good. Play. Nice, Jeanette. Whoa. Come on down when you're ready. Come on down to your knees. Swivel your feet. And come on down to your back. Just take a breath there. And then hug your knees in. Give yourself a hug. Maybe roll side to side a little bit. You okay, Lisa? You gotta go. Okay. I'm glad you made it though.
Roll over your left thigh.
Just check in. Something happened. And then if you want more stretch, you can interlace behind the left thigh. Over from your shin. To the side. Try and lengthen your spine here. That's good, right? Appreciate what your body does do. And none of us are perfect. What we do feels perfect, right? Bring that foot down, maybe right to the middle of the mat. Slide your right knee over your left knee. And then lift the left foot up again. And think to yourself, I'm going to bring my left foot to the right, my right foot to the left, flex the feet. And then lift your head and chest to hold your shins. And then lay your head and chest back down if that works. Press the shins up into your hands for longhorn pose. Switch left ankle over right thigh. If you want, you don't have to, don't feel like you have to. Now again, you can slide the knee over the top. Lift up again, widen your feet. And we're going to mutineer your spine here. Just holding the kneecaps. Press the knees away from you till you feel your pelvis tilt forward. And your feet are just dangling there. And bring the knees wide. Feet are still dangling. And hug the knees in again. You'll feel the low back come back down to the mat as you pull them in towards your armpits. And then back together. Do that 4 times. Press them away. Widen them. Hug them in. And back together. Wide again. Press them away. So your feet are dangling. And then just release the knees, bring the feet down wide on the mat like that. Arms in cactus. And last week I saw a lot of saguaro cactuses. So we're back to cactus instead of goalpost. And just do the windshield wipers. Post here.
behind, arms by your hips now. Press into your feet, lift to vasisthasana. Notice what makes us feel more comfortable for you. Do breathe by slide by heels isometrically. They don't move, they just isometrically pull towards me. I feel more stable. Feel like I can lift my heart up. Then back here. Down the soles of your feet together, let your knees open wide. Maybe hands on belly or thigh. Stretch out for Shavasana. Shavasana, just focus in on your breath. Separate from the top of your roof of your mouth. Rest in. And it's such a strong muscle. Really work at relaxing it. Relax your jaw. Maybe allow your teeth to part slightly. Your face. Hold you completely. Just looking into your heart space. Going on and hey, the heart. Lighten in. to share with you one of the poems from my book, The Imperfect Life by Jody Hills. I wish for you an imperfect life and all the wonder that living can bring, the wealth that comes from knowing loss, the tears that find their way to laughter, the joy that grows after the rain, and the love felt deepest by those who have been carved by pain. I hope that you can value this imperfection, hold on to it, so it gives you such comfort that you will dare embrace the beauty of all the imperfect lives that surround you, and then you will be perfectly free to step to the beat of your own imperfect heart, and you will have truly lived. As it comes in and as it comes out. It's always ready. It's amazing. I'm even grateful for the practice of yoga. As the Lord knows, I'm not perfect. I can always work on it. Strive to meld together mind, body, and spirit. Thank you guys for practicing with me. Namaste. Guys at home, you have a great weekend. I can't believe it's Friday already.
Thanks, Lisa.
You're